Indonesia leapfrogs regional peers in global tourism ranking, and ALMOST All Puri Agung in Bali support construction of North Bali Airport. Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy accepts input. Yes, North Bali Airport is back in the news again. Okay, stay tuned for details. And what is the weather like today? 30 degrees Celsius, 71% humidity, and wind speed 9.4 kilometers per hour. Another lovely day in the kampung. And just a quick update on one of the lead stories in the last video. The sandstone or limestone collapse where they're building this new hotel on the cliffs. Turns out that all the paperwork is in order. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And all of the mess on the beach is going to be cleaned up. The government has given them 30 days to clean all of it up. And so everything is on the up and up, apparently. Okay, let's get right into it. Indonesia leapfrogs regional peers in global tourism ranking. So Indonesia is becoming more competitive in travel and tourism as the country emerges from as the most improved in a list of destinations. According to World Economic Forum's latest Travel and Tourism Development Index, TTDI, the report was released this Tuesday, and Indonesia is 22nd globally, up 14 spots from the 2019 ranking, the biggest leap in the region. The great improvement puts Indonesia ahead of neighbors like Malaysia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and even the tourism hotspot of Thailand. A lot of people on TikTok and Instagram saying, go to Thailand, it's way better than Indonesia. Well, they say it's way better than Bali, comparing Thailand and Bali, but that's another thing. On a scale of 7, where 1 is the worst and 7 is the best, an overall index score of 4.46 ranks Indonesia highest in the region, excluding Singapore, and above emerging market peers Brazil and India. The TTDI evaluated 119 countries and regions based on factors and policies contributing to a sustainable and resilient development of the travel and tourism sector. The United States retained its top position, and China climbed a notch higher and is 8th in the global rankings now. The recovery of tourism on a global basis from the pandemic, however, remains uneven. While 71 of the 119 ranked economies improved their scores when compared with 2019, the average index score is just 0.7% above pre-pandemic levels. Low to upper middle income economies accounted for 52 of the 71 economies that improved. Indonesia's leap highlights the country's commitment to developing its tourism sector as reflected in its resources dimension score reaching a high 6.03. At the same time, Indonesia also boasts a competitive edge with a score of 5.44 for price competitiveness. Accordingly, Southeast Asia led the pack in terms of improvement for the air service agreements indicator since 2019, and agreements like the ASEAN-EU Comprehensive Air Transport Agreement and the ASEAN Single Aviation Market are expected to significantly boost both intra-regional and international aviation in the region. Indonesia's improvement notwithstanding, the report highlights the need for further investment across developing economies. Scoring high in price competitiveness, emerging economies lag behind in crucial areas like transportation, tourism, and information and communications technology infrastructure, and enabling environments that foster conducive business conditions. Indonesia's score in openness to travel and tourism sits at a middling 3.83, and the score for non-leisure travel resources such as business and medical at 3.06, indicating room for improvement. In February, Pak Sandiaga admitted that Indonesia had been losing foreign tourists to neighboring countries, citing inconvenient visa requirements and limited connectivity between Indonesia islands. The global tourism sector is expected to recover from lows of the pandemic and surpass levels seen before the crisis. This is largely driven by a significant increase in demand worldwide, which has coincided with more available flights, better international openness, as well as increased interest in investment in natural and cultural attractions. So, good news for Indonesia in the tourism sector. And what does Pak Sandiaga have to say about this? Because remember in February he said we were losing tourists to other areas, and there have been some changes in visas and a few other things. Sandiaga claims that Indonesian tourism is moving farther away from Thailand and Malaysia. So, Pak Sandiaga claimed that Indonesia's tourism competitiveness is increasing, leaving the neighboring countries of Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines behind them. This is based on the 2023 index that I just talked about. Pak Sandiaga said, we are increasingly at world level with America and Spain. There are only a few Asian countries above us, Korea, Japan, and Singapore. Pak Sandiaga said that the achievement was beyond the expectation of many parties here. He said, now we can surpass Belgium, New Zealand, and Turkey. These are the three countries usually visited by Indonesian tourists. Sandiaga said he's prostrated himself in gratitude for this achievement. According to him, the tourism index has increased thanks to the collaboration of all parties so that Indonesia can enter at the world level. He said the achievement has to be accelerated. Yeah, let's bring in more tourists. He loves doing that. He targets the quality of Indonesian tourism in order to continue to improve and be the world-class destination. He said there are three significant impacts marking Indonesia's rise. One, nature, two, culture, and third, prioritization. He said the increase in Indonesia's tourism index would be followed by various improvements in these sectors, among them health and cleanliness as supporting tourism, and information and communication technology, ICT, as well as infrastructure, including flight connectivity. Still really expensive to travel domestically. He is of the view that among the factors that make Indonesia a top spot to visit, cultural, hospitality, and nature. Pak Sandiaga said, maybe the next time we can get into the top 10. Pak Sandiaga reminded listeners that the strong role of Indonesia's 5 super priority destinations has received very high scores so far. He said starting to prepare for 5 other super priority destinations that were previously announced as 10 priority destinations is going to be encouraged in order to complement Bali. Yeah, let's spread people out. And I'm going to talk about that in the last segment of this video. So stay tuned if you want to find some other places to go besides Bali while you're here in Indonesia. And what else? North Bali Airport is back in the news. And one news source, not an Indonesian one, I'm not going to mention it, seems to be jumping the gun and says that the airport is going to be built. Well, take a listen to this story. Almost all Puri Agung in Bali support construction of North Bali Airport. Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy accepts all input. Now, after you listen to this, tell me that this says that the airport is definitely underway or is going to be underway immediately. Leaders of almost all of the Puri Agung in Bali gathered at Puri Agung Batu to provide support for the construction of the North Bali Airport. Hearing about this support, Pak Sandiaga said he was not in a position to provide support or not provide support. In other words, no comments. But more to gardening tourism in Bali and Indonesia, quality and environmental sustainability must be considered carefully. He said this has been discussed for years, and at the end of Pak Jokowi's second administration, we're taking all input into account. We will tell the government in the future to consider the policy. He mentioned this 2 days ago in Nusa Dua. According to Pak Sandiaga, the current capacity at Ngurah Rai is 25 to 30 million and is approaching the upper limit of its capacity. But of course, this decision, the construction of the North Bali Airport, must be based on quality tourism and sustainability. Now, he said, there's a large airport in Banyuwangi, and we're building a 3B ecosystem, or West Bali and Banyuwangi. So maybe visits can be optimized via Banyuwangi Airport, which can be connected via sea or land routes to several destinations in West Bali. But studies of the North Bali Airport are still ongoing. He said, we're waiting for the final study so that the next government can do what they want. And he said the next minister can take a stand and provide a roadmap for certainty about whether the new airport needs to be built or whether they can depend on the existing airport in Banyuwangi. Pak Sandiaga said that many domestic tourists to go to Bali travel from land and sea in addition to air. 80%, he said, travel by land, 10% by sea, and 10% by air. He said, so from the perspective, we have to really calculate the benefits and the harms of the procurement, the building of the new airport. And the studies we have are still being completed, and hopefully, he said, the next government will take a position on it. The leaders of the Puri Agung around Bali had gathered, as I said, in the Puri Agung Blabatu, and they expressed their strong support for the North Bali Airport. In addition to the leaders of the Puri Agung, this meeting was also included village heads throughout Bululang, whose areas would be impacted by the airport. In essence, they're praying that the construction of the North Bali Airport will be realized soon. Puri Agung Klungkung figure, Pak Ida Dalam Samara Putra, said the existence of the North Bali Airport was eagerly awaited because, he said, it will even out the economic cycle in Bali. He said, as we know, Bali's development is very rapid, but this is only happening in central to southern Bali. So with the North Bali Airport, there's a way for progress and development of North Bali, which will have an impact on the welfare of the community. He said, we want the results of development to be felt by everybody, not just the people in central and southern Bali. And this has been said for a long time. The reason for the airport is to spread out economic development. And will it? Well, and so where are we? You may remember, if you're a regular viewer here, back during the election cycle when the campaigning was going on, the man who is the new vice president, well, will be the vice president when they're sworn in, was here and said he supported the North Bali Airport. Does that mean it's going to happen? No, not necessarily, because they've been talked about for years and years and years, and my position on this was, well, I'm not really thrilled about the idea of having more traffic up here, more confusion, more chaos that's going to go along with the airport while they try to develop the infrastructure, which right now is not ready for a large international airport. But I'll believe it when I see it. And more on developing Bali, of course, because World Water Forum is wrapping up, and everybody wants to talk about developing Bali in this way and this way, not much of which has to do with nature and culture. What does Pak Luhut have to say? Pak Luhut says Bali to become family office hub. So the coordinating minister of Maritime Affairs and Investment has pitched Bali as an alternative hub for wealthy individuals from the region as a place where they can run their family businesses, pitting this island against Hong Kong and Singapore. The number of Singapore registered family offices, which manage tens of billions of dollars in private wealth, has skyrocketed from 50 in 2018 to 1,100 by the end of 2022, according to the ministry in Singapore. Most of the family offices were set up during the pandemic, and a long line of business people are still looking to make the city-state their base. Pak Luhut says there's been a discussion about urging Bali to become a hub for family offices like Hong Kong and Singapore. Pak Luhut said he has met with 20 delegations from various countries and major companies, and they have shown an interest in Bali and were willing to invest through family offices here. He said, we're going to report the results to Pak Jokowi. If family offices established in Bali, the investors have requested that it serve as a hub linking Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, and other places. Pak Luhut said delegations had pointed out several advantages of Bali, including good hospital and legal provisions. Okay. Furthermore, Pak Luhut suggested that Bali also lend itself as a location for family offices in the context of global South collaboration. Aside from the family offices, Pak Luhut also discussed investment in seaweed. He said seaweed is not going to be a prime commodity like nickel, and there's carbon capture storage and many others, including mangroves, forests for carbon sequestration. Bali's development as a globally renowned tourism hub has continued contributed to a gradual decrease in agricultural land from 78,626 hectares in 2017 to 74,000 in 2021. While the influx of millions of foreign tourists per year drives a major chunk of economic activity on the island, mass tourism has also led to some resentment among residents. And what about if you want to see something besides Bali? Because this country has all sorts of great stuff. Well, here is an interesting article. Over tourism in Bali. Here's 8 alternatives for crowd-free holiday in Indonesia. Indonesia is known for its diverse tourist destinations. In fact, some of the destinations in the country are overcrowded with tourists, such as Bali, which experienced overtourism in 2023, according to World Travel and Tourism Council. On the other hand, Indonesia still has lesser-known tourist destinations that offer mesmerizing views and are unspoiled by too many people. The following are 8 recommendations for lesser-known tourist destinations. Kakaban Lake. Quoted from Traveloka, Kakaban Lake is located in East Kalimantan, inhabited by stingless jellyfish. The lake is one of 2 places in the world where stingless jellyfish reside, the other being Jellyfish Lake in Micronesia. Thus, visitors to this beautiful lake are able to swim freely without worrying about getting hurt. And Wadi Ombo Beach, and this is in Jogja. The beach is dominated by coral rocks and white sand. Apart from its charming views, visitors can enjoy the beach by snorkeling, surfing, fishing, or just relaxing and watching the sunset. Number 3, Giliang Beach. Giliang Beach is in Madura. And this island is known for having the best oxygen quality in the world. Really? Wow. The oxygen level on this beach is above average, namely 21%. Not only enjoying clean air, tourists can visit other adjacent destinations such as beaches and caves. And Pink Beach in East Nusa Tenggara. Wow, I was there a long time ago, 25 years ago. There are only 7 beaches across the globe that have pink sand, and one of them is on Komodo Island. The color of the sand comes from grains of white sand mixed with pink coral fragments. The seawater around Pink Beach is crystal clear, making it suitable for snorkeling or diving. Kitty Kitty Waterfall. Kitty Kitty Waterfall is located in the Fak Fak Regency in West Papua. Unlike your usual waterfalls, Kitty Kitty Waterfall empties into the ocean of Nusa Lasi Bay, so visitors can enjoy 2 tours at one time. Number 6, Lake Labuan Cermin. Lake Labuan Cermin is in East Kalimantan. The lake is known for its dual layer with fresh water at the top and salt water at the bottom. This duality creates a mirror-like mirage on the water. And Whiddy Islands. Now, I have never been to Whiddy Islands, but I passed through it once about 8 years ago. Whiddy Islands in Maluku consist of around 100 islands and are suitable for tourists who like snorkeling, diving, and island hopping. Additionally, this archipelago is known as the angler's paradise because of its abundance of yellowfin tuna and dogtooth tuna. And Nihiwatu Beach. Nihiwatu Beach was once included in a list of the 100 best beaches in the world, and it's located in West Sumbawa in East Nusa Tenggara. The beach offers a combination of white sand, coral rocks, and clear blue seawater. Visitors usually lounge on the beach while waiting for sunsets, but some are pulled to try and ride out the waves, as it's known as a challenging surfing spot. And one more place that is not on this article, where I used to live, Sumbawa, West Sumbawa. And you see this beach here? This is over by Sakongkang Bawa, the village that I used to live in. Look at that beach. And it was empty white sand, beautiful clear waters, nobody there. We would be out there all the time, and we were usually the only people. Good surfing around the area, and we would get surfers that would show up occasionally. But back then, there were not a lot of people there. But we're talking about 2009. So what is that? 15 years ago. Maybe it has become a little more popular since then. I don't know, but try it. So that's it. That's a wrap. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today, or a lot of people today, and stay safe. And I will see you next time.